All right, shalom, shalom. We are the real Hebrew Israelites coming day in and day out to prophesy downfall of Babylon the Great, which is America. First off and foremost, all praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kadash. Double honor to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect wherever you may be. Brother Shapaya coming at you again with another lesson through the Spirit. I'm going to go straight into it. As you see in the title, we follow the example that was set. Like Paul say, be ye followers of me, for I'm a follower of Hamashiach. All right, so we have elders, we have leaders, we have men set up to guide the flock. And there's a certain way you have to do that. All right. This is Ezekiel 34. First of all, you got to eat the whole roll, since I'm thinking about Ezekiel. All right. You got to be able to digest the whole roll. All right. It's all about being prepared for the mission. All right. Counting the cost, things of that nature, knowing what you're getting yourself into. Ezekiel 34:2, Son of man, prophesy against the shepherds of Israel. Woe, which is destruction, be unto the shepherds that do feed themselves. Should not the shepherds feed the flocks? So you got these guys that's that's big on money, if you will. I mean, that's rolling in the cash, because they're not preaching sound doctrine. So this scheme, this scam is beneficial to them. Matter of fact, it talks about how does it go? For filthy lucre's sake. There you go. It came back to me. All right. And that's what these guys are in it for. All right. When we see the example that was set, Yahweh Shai didn't do this for money. The prophets, the apostles, the disciples didn't do this for money. Now, muzzle knock the ox. There's a balance in that, but our sole purpose of doing this work is not to get paid, because we just want to fuck off, if you will. All right, that's what a lot of old school pimps, they turn into preachers and pastors. Matter of fact, to be a pimp, you got to read the Bible, man. All right, that's one of the laws. But nonetheless, this is what most of these, especially them of the circumcision, this is what a lot of them do. All right, we ain't checking your bankroll, we ain't checking none of that shit. We simply preaching and kicking the word, man. Nothing more, nothing less. All right, but you have these guys that are preaching another Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, matter of fact, the scriptures talks about the people spending their money on that which is not bread. Okay, it's Jeremiah 3:15. Matter of fact, let me finish reading Ezekiel 34. It says, the disease have ye not strengthened, neither have ye sought that which was lost. All right, because who's lost? All right, the sheep of Israel. So you're supposed to be clothing Israel. All right. Instead, you're stripping the flesh off of Israel. Okay, that's not the example the elders set for us. All right, you have them that serve the Lord, and you have them that serve not the Lord. There's a difference. Okay, this is John 3:10. For I am the good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. And that's Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai laid the example for us. Matter of fact, Yahweh Shai said, what? If you love me, do what? Feed my sheep. But you have to feed the sheep adequate food, nutritional food, not bullshit, not byproducts, not winging it. Especially when it comes to that MOTB. And yes, we're going to kick that until it comes. No, we're going to kick it to after it comes, man. All right? That's one of the major prophecy holes in these other guys' doctrines. When it comes to that MOTB, oh, we got 30 more years. We probably got 1,000 more years. No, you niggas are comfortable here, man. Okay, you niggas are comfortable. Hey, I tell you this, Shikari, a smaller Israelite group, or was a smaller Israelite group, even when they was at their peak, smaller than ICIU, whatever them niggas' names is. I'm not going to say that name correctly. Y'all don't say the Lord's name correctly. ICIU, whatever the fuck y'all, you purple niggas, man. All right. I think it's IUIC, whatever the fuck it is. All right. But, you know, when Al-Azhar pulled out the numbers, whether it was 250K within that year, that was a smaller group. Imagine what Nate is pulling in, man. Yes, the church need to be taken care of. Yes, yes, there are certain avenues for the money. We know that. We know that. But you guys are not in the truth for the right reasons. Matter of fact, you got bullshit doctrines, but you get what I'm saying. You guys are doing this Israelite thing for money, man. Just call it for what it is. It's for money. All right? You're living your lavish lifestyle or whatever the fuck you want to call it. You guys are comfortable in Babylon the Great. It says, 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 2 to 3. Feed the flock of Yahweh, which is among you, taking oversight. So I'm tell you one thing. When you're looking over, let's talk about livestock. Or we could just talk about regular plants and vegetables. When you're overseeing them, you're making sure there's no diseases amongst the flock. You're making sure that the flock is well fed, well watered, making sure the flock is getting the right exercise. When I say exercise, and you know anything about a shepherd, they go on long walks, man. Okay. Making sure, like I said, they're eating the right thing. Even the vegetables, making sure you don't have pesticides, making sure certain locusts or insects are not destroying the crops. All right, you have to take oversight thereof, because if you see something wrong, you have to correct it. All right. It says taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint. Oh man, I gotta do this. Oh man, I gotta do this. Oh no, not with constraint, but what? Willingly. All right. This is our reasonable service. So if you feel like, oh, this is becoming a job, this is becoming a task, no, it's a constraint. All right, that's wisdom bearing her burden upon you, and you don't want to do it no more, man. All right. It says, but willingly, neither being lords over Yahweh's heritage, but being an example to the flock among you, should be servant to all. Having that hospitality type of spirit upon you, all right? Especially in the spirit, okay? You got some of these niggas that they got egos in this truth, man. When I came out the pussy, I didn't know y'all about Shemuel Shai. I didn't know the scriptures. Now you got scriptures say you know the scriptures since you was a child. I know that. I always knew the scriptures was real. I knew that. But what I'm saying is the knowledge that I have now, we didn't come out the pussy knowing that. Okay? There's levels to it. So you got guys who have these egos, like they came up with the whole concept of Israel, or they came up with the concept of the truth, or they came up with the concept of the law, statutes, and commandments. All right? But hey, everything these niggas are doing is for vain glory. All right? It says, Acts 20th chapter, 28th verse. Take heed thereof unto yourself and unto all the flock, to feed the church of Yahweh, which he has purchased with his own blood. Because what? The good shepherd gave his life, right? All right, to make sure the flock was okay, right? But once again, we hear this term, feed the flock. So what are you supposed to be feeding the flock? Part of feeding the flock is telling them exactly what the MOTB is, because if it's anything else, they're malnourished, which means when that hour of temptation come, they're not going to know what to do. They're going to take it. And that blood is going to be upon you. Listen, a lot of niggas got to fall in the pit. A lot of niggas got to lead a lot of niggas astray. So you guys got to fit the bill. This is Proverbs 27 and 23. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds, which goes into what I was talking about earlier. You have to inspect the herd. Make sure there's no outbreaks of diseases amongst the flock. Make sure they're eating the right things, right? If you ever, I don't know how many of you niggas have ever been on the farm or been around a lot of fucking animals. It's a fucking task. All right. It's a fucking task. Matter of fact, the Lord compares a man who has basically, if you don't care for your animal, I forget how that scripture goes. Basically, a man who has no care for his cattle basically is a piece of shit. If a brother can find that scripture, not saying it's verbatim, but there's the essence of what I just said. There's a scripture about it. Basically, a man that doesn't care about his own flock or things of that nature. But it's laborious. Hey, matter of fact, go buy you a brand new dog. How much you got to look after that damn dog and make sure he's straight and make sure he ain't getting parvo or it's a task. All right. So how much more the children of Israel? All right. It says, know the state. All right. Know the state of thy flocks and look well to thy herd. So guess what? You got to make sure they're going down the right path. Got to make sure, hey, none is getting lost. All right. So the job, I want you brothers to understand this. The job that was bestowed upon the elders are heavy. You know why they heavy? Let me get this. Let me see. Let me get this. Hebrews 13 and 17. Obey them which have rule over you and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls. So they're accountable. The things that they give us, as far as this knowledge, wisdom, understanding, they're accountable for it. So if they listen, if we was to get some bullshit, they will be accountable for it. That's why the elders are diligent in what they preach and what they teach, digging into the Hebrew, digging into the Greek, getting into the lexicon, getting into the etymology of words, getting into the history to make sure that we are well supplied. All right, with the spiritual food that we need. All right, there's a scripture that talks about being apt to teach. A lot of people ain't apt to teach. A lot of people don't have the tools to teach. All right. A lot of people don't have the integrity to teach. Okay. This is Numbers 27, starting with 16. Let the Lord set a man over the congregation, which may go out before them, and which may go in before them, that the congregation of the Lord be not as sheep that have no shepherds. So you need somebody leading. All right. Where there is no vision, the people are lost. Scriptures say, do nothing without what? Counsel. So you have to have some set of order somewhere. And the first principles of the oracles of Yahweh Shem Yahushai is you have need that one teach you again. Okay? Isaiah 40 and 11. All right? It says, he shall feed his flock like a shepherd which is what Yahweh Shai is doing for us. He's the comforter. And he should gather the lambs with his arm and carry them in his bosom. All right. So this is the care that Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai has for us. And eventually, the Lord is leading us into a safe place. Eventually, the Lord is leading us where? Until salvation. All right. Because before then, we were sheeps prepared for the slaughter. Now we sheeps prepared for what? Salvation. Okay. Like I said, going back to that Hebrews, it says they watch over your souls, all right? Because what? They have to. They must give account. It says they must give account that they may do it with joy and not with grief. Now listen. You don't want to do this thing, especially when you're dealing with a brother, and now it's becoming grievous to you. Like, he ain't getting it, he ain't this, he ain't that. It is unprofitable for that young man. All right? Because it's not we love doing this work. It's a joyous thing. But when a nigga is becoming an issue and a problem, it's not going to benefit that nigga. All right? You continue to do what you got to do. Preach. Same thing the elders do. Niggas start tweaking and go off. Elders still going to preach. They ain't going to fizzle about it. They still going to preach. Oh, well. Shit happens. Motherfuckers fall to the wayside all the time. Their job is to guide the elect, because the elect is not going to slip out the truth. Matthew 23:11. It says, but he that is greatest among you, which I quoted earlier, shall be your servant. He should be servant to all. So, like, you can see certain spirits on brothers, man, that really have that humility, the hospitality spirit. And not only that, willing and ready to cut and correct. All right. Because you got to have a perfect balance, man. All right. Luke 12:42. Who then is a faithful and wise steward? Blessed is the servant whom the Lord, when he cometh, shall find doing so. So we should be constantly doing this work. That's the example that is set. Endure to the end. The same should be saved. Strive for the truth unto death. All right. I think, what was the elder apostle Todd? He's been in the truth for 40 years. That's older than me. That's a lifetime, man. So think about that, man. So that's an example that we follow. No, we hope this place don't go on for another 30 years, another 10 years, another 5 years. But the elder been fighting for 40 years. You had prophets that came and went that was fighting for years. Noah was out preaching 20-something years. Hey, we're going to strive for the truth until death. And that's the example that's set for us. All right? That's what's set. All right? We don't have elders that are not out in the field. All right. One thing that made King David great, he went out and battled with his army. You know, in most historical books, the general or the king, he just sit back because, you know, they don't want him to get touched. They don't want him to get killed. No, our elders are out in the trenches with us, and they are elderly. They're up in age now. And what are they doing? The work. That's a hell of an example to follow, man. Okay? So we ain't gonna be. Yeah, I hate to use this quote. They not like us. Fuck that nigga Kendrick, man. But anyway, these other groups ain't like us, like real shit. Because they not of the elect. And Yahweh Ratazah, we are. Because the fruit is proof. All right? The fruit is proof. Hey, so with that, hey, I pray this was edifying. I'm saying all praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kadash. Double honors to thee, all the apostles of great millstone, salutations to the elect, wherever you may be. about the ball.